Zoloft to get your head right.
Right on, head right, homies. Welcome to the Zoloft, your head right hangout. Here I am, an hour freaking earlier than we're all used to. I'm still a little grouchy about losing my hour of sleep, man, because you know, Uncle Zoe is I be dealing with insomnia and stuff like that. This didn't help none. And but I reckon I'll get over it. And Trump, you know, we would really like to do away with this whole daylight saving time thing. There's no point in doing it. And because I tell you what, I'll have more confidence that we're gonna get that rebate. What Elon Musk talked about, like we're gonna get starting with $5,000 back. That'd be great. I mean, we finding all this money that the invisible empire, the deep state, has been taking us from for all these years. And it'd be great if you go ahead and give the people their money back. That'd be fantastic. But if you can't even give us an hour back, how about you? Let's start there. Baby steps, baby steps. Give us back our hour, right? And then, okay, I might take you a little bit more seriously that we'll get that. We'll get some money back. Praying for you that these things will be a success. So anyway, thank you guys for tuning in for Meatloaf Monday. Let's serve up the meat, man. What are we talking about? What do we got going on that's going to be in the news cycle for this week for us to examine? And thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for tuning on the Instagrams and on the YouTubes, and of course, bronzeservermedia.com. And if you guys have a like button or anything like that, go ahead and hit them things, man. If you got to subscribe, my subscriptions are still dropping on YouTube. So, you know, I mean, I guess that means that people aren't dropping in and subscribing. Instead, people are dropping off. I guess I really offend people or whichever, and they don't want to be my friend. And but who knows? Maybe we'll glitch the algorithm or something like that, and you know, we'll get picked up on people's radar.
That would be nice. I do hear frequently enough for people who rejoin the channel in the chat that they did not unsubscribe themselves.
Oh yeah.
That they were unsubscribed.
Oh yeah. And you know, and to be fair, folks, that's been happening to me for years. Facebook would kick people off my fans page and off my. It's kind of, you got to be careful in saying your fans page. It may sound like I had an OnlyFans account or something like that. It's not OnlyFans, but on Facebook, you know, I had, you know, the fan page. Facebook was kicking people off of there and kicking people off my, you know, my normal friends page and stuff like that. People be like, say, "What's up, man? What'd I do? Why'd you kick me off your friends?" It's like, man, I didn't kick you off.
Offended people coming at you.
Right?
I didn't do it.
And so yeah, Facebook and YouTube, they've been doing that kind of stuff for years. So at any rate, if you're tuning in on the Instagrams, thank you guys so much. Just a word of warning. I may have to do this a couple times as people may come in, so bear with me. That you know, Instagram will shut off. It's going to probably shut off for, you know, before it gets to 10:30. So just you got the link there to if you guys want to stay tuned in with us. Stay tuned on bronzeservermedia.com. Okay, so what do we got going on here? Let's take a look at our roster of articles. We're going to talk about Gene Hackman. Remember the last, we talked about him before. I think the first role I've ever seen him in was Lex Luthor in the Superman movies. Gene Hackman died a week after his wife, a chilling autopsy reveals. Tulsi was right, according to Not the Bee. This article says Syrian rebels are rounding up and killing Christians now that they control the country. Come learn what's happening. Maranatha, y'all, Maranatha. Democrat Congresswoman release. Choose your fighter video to appeal to voters. This is real. Yep. And then we got convicted murderer becomes the first U.S. Death row inmate in 15 years to die by firing squad. Then we got Democrats embrace pure evil. This ain't news. They are evil. They talk about embracing this. Come on, man. Bernie Sanders teams up with transgender punk rocker performing a blasphemous explicit song. Does your God have a big fat D word? Because it feels like he's effing me. Like you mind? We'll get in here. What are you complaining for? All right. Delta Airlines isn't just doubling down on DEI, it's also doubling down on this sustainable aircraft design. It's sustainable in quotes. This should be fun. Elon Musk says X experienced a massive cyber attack involving a lot of resources. Here's what we know. And last but not least, we got Zelensky apologized to Trump in private letter. Kiss it. Apologize. Anyway, all right, so let's go ahead and back up to Gene Hackman. So we talked about this a little before, but we got a little bit of a development here. And I'll read a little bit from this article. Authorities confirmed on Friday that actor Gene Hackman, 95, passed away due to heart disease. Get out of my way ad. Heart disease at his home in New Mexico, likely a week after his wife, Betsy Arakawa, succumbed to hantavirus, the disease often associated with rodent doo-doo and pee-pee, can lead to respiratory failure in extreme cases. The discovery of their bodies on February 26th initially sparked widespread speculation. However, the medical examiner's findings indicate that both died of natural causes, the Associated Press reported. What do they mean by natural causes? I mean, I guess, there wasn't foul play. Or,
right. Wasn't an armed robbery gone wrong or a murder.
Because natural causes can still be pretty broad.
Yeah.
Like is a natural cause, like say for instance, they're older and they slipped, they fell and, hit their head on something. Is that a natural cause? Or, I mean, I guess the nature of that being gravity is,
right.
Really working against you there. So, and of course, the Lord's peace and comfort, to anybody, their families and those who love them and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate, but so hantavirus. And thank you. What was it? And forgive me if Jay, thank you for
sent the traps too.
Right? We went to battle, man. We went to battle them little hantavirus booby trap. Hanta, right? And I know it's like, you gotta stick the T in there. You gotta make sure you enunciate that T. You don't want to make it sound like hantavirus, Hannah. That don't sound like Hanta. That sounds like it's got some gusto to it, right? You don't want none of that, right? So, and hey, because look, yeah, we like animals and stuff like that. Really don't appreciate them little critters, coming up and going doo-doo on my desk though. It's like, like I said, man, we, thank you y'all for your prayers and whatnot. The Lord has hooked us up with the facility that we're in, where we live, where we work, but it's kind of in a rural area, we by the river and stuff, so we got wildlife out here. And so, and wildlife, they kind of make themselves at home in here. And, so left me some presents and whatnot. And I said, man, we can't have that. You can't do that, cuz that's rude. That's rude. All right, we try to be nice. And Jay hooked us up with some traps.
Yep.
Right, got rid of them. So you can't be leaving them, the little...
what are they called? The kind traps.
The kind traps, humane.
Humane
right?
traps, yeah.
Catch and release.
You just deported them.
Right, and I admittedly, I kind of released them like I was playing, what's that game? Lacrosse. He caught them. He catch him in these little tubes and stuff like that, right? It's like, all right, little guy, thank you for the turds that you let them and fling them. No, I didn't do that. I honestly, I didn't do that. Yeah, I just kind of opened up and let them go and scurry them way on out there.
That one little gray mouse that was checking out what you were doing was cute.
It was, but leaving turds on my desk ain't cute. And I did get a little bit of satisfaction of squirting them in the face with some alcohol. Trying to keep, my on camera is like, he's sitting there, he's just like looking at me. It's like, hey, what's up, man? You got any nuts? You got any cheese or anything like that? Hook it up, trying to make sure that, I don't let on that I'm having this engagement with this mouse that on camera and stuff like that. Have my alcohol spray that I have, He's all, what the crap was that, man? What'd you do? And he's all like, I didn't hit him too hard enough to kill him or anything like that, but, had to let him know, who's boss up in here. And he was one of those that I caught and released him back to the wild. And so hopefully, hantavirus, it doesn't show up immediately, so hopefully that stuff isn't dormant in my system. I'll be
I'm a little concerned, yes, because you've done some deep cleaning.
Yeah,
in your day.
because here's one of the things about Texas, and I might catch some flack from my fellow Texas neighbors. That's one of the things that we discovered that when we moved to Texas is that whoever the previous tenant is, the owner, doesn't have to make sure that the place that you're moving into is clean before you make that. Yeah, that's like a thing. I don't know, man. Maybe that's one of those things if I miss things about California, that was kind of like a same thing I miss. It's like, look, if you leave the place clean, not like people did it, but it was at least one of those things like, hey, if you move out, leave the place clean for the next tenant.
Yeah.
But here it's like the owner is like, nah, man, if I'll I don't have to leave. I don't have to make sure that it's clean for you.
Yeah, it's not a law here in Texas. So,
so
the landlords don't leave it clean.
Yeah, they don't leave it clean. So we show up, man, and I'm like, ooh, I got a lot of deep cleaning to do, right? Lots of deep cleaning, and part of that cleaning was rodent, lot of rodent droppings, right? I'm like, what? No, are you serious? But we was like, look, man. We was expecting this place. But the thing is, y'all told us that it was gonna be clean. Mm-hmm. You said it was gonna be clean. We showed up. I had to spend like a lot of money getting cleaning products to clean this place up, right? Not this place. This place was like much better. But when we first moved, to the area to kind of get where we gonna move to? Where we gonna really set up shop? So while we're in this kind of like holding period, this one place like, man, for real? It's like, dang. I mean, we spent like hundreds, on cleaning supplies, getting this place cleaned up. It's
Not to mention the urgent care trips.
Right, yeah, especially like, man, we getting, exposure to the dust and stuff like this. Hey, man, I got some serious rasp going on here, right? And so we went to the landlord and not to the landlord, but the property manager said, hey, for real, man, And fortunately, they reimbursed us for the cleaning supplies, man, and so that was cool. But
because you had video.
And I had video. I was like, man, look at this that I'm cleaning up, man.
There was
for
no
real.
denial.
Yeah, So all that to say, hantavirus. Hope it's not laying dormant in our system.
Please keep my hubby in your prayers because he's the one who did all the deep cleaning.
Yeah, deep clean. And
Jay says, what's up? Do you guys need any more cleaner traps? Seriously. No, Jay, we're talking about, you blessed us with the things and now we're good to go.
Yeah, I hadn't seen.
We're good to go.
I hadn't seen no rodents. I ain't seen no rodent doo-doo in a while. After you sent them traps, like I said, I went to battle. They gone.
Yep.
Right? So thank you very much.
Gene Hackman's wife died of hantavirus. That's why we were talking about this.
According to their findings, that is what happened, and it sounded like a pretty crappy way to go, y'all. You don't want none of that. So I reckon Gene Hackman, who has been in a advanced state of dementia, particularly Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
He might have just been like a specter in his own home, y'all, not even registering that she's passed away.
Yeah.
He's in a state where it's like, you don't really know, you just sleep, you just like sleepwalking, man. You don't know if you're, to what degree you're, urinating on yourself, defecating on yourself. How's he going about by eating?
Yeah, I was wondering that too.
But people, can sleepwalk, and make their way to the fridge, so I don't know how he was sustaining himself. And the reason why I say that, y'all, is because heart failure was the determining factor.
Right.
But I reckon if you're not feeding yourself, you're not hydrating yourself, those things will take a toll on your heart.
Yeah. Especially he had a pacemaker.
Oh, that too. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, if these things aren't being fueled, so it's a pretty sad way to go. It seems rather strange that considering his condition, they didn't have kind of like a staff
Yeah.
a healthcare staff to help him out with that. I don't know. I mean, if she's 65 and he's in his 90s, you know, it's not strange that she would be basically his, you know, not just only his spouse, but you know, his healthcare
Yeah.
provider in this situation. But you know, somebody at that stage, I would say that she's not necessarily a professional in that area. You're gonna need some help. I mean, heck, even the professionals probably still have like a team, you know, to kind of help you out with those sort of things. So, what do you guys think? I mean, do you think it's kind of strange that they would discover them after such a period of time? Nobody's, you know, checking in on them. You know, no phone calls. Is there like a record of people like trying to get a hold of them and they can't? Are they that reclusive? You know, hey, I'm pretty introverted, you know, but you know, it's like nobody.
Yeah, you're introverted, but I guarantee that you wouldn't go 2 weeks without anybody talking to you or getting a hold of you.
I don't know.
No, that's just not.
Ain't
You're
it?
introverted, but you talk to people every day, whether it's through email, text, or phone.
Yeah, and not only that. I mean, I'm pretty sure they use people's services. You know, people like, you know,
Yeah.
hey, you owe us some money. It's like, you know, people, nothing, just for that long period of time.
And I don't know how many kids both of them have, but I did read that Gene Hackman has a daughter, and people were kind of like, the daughter didn't like talk to him in 2 weeks.
You know, and even that, sometimes
Or
people,
her.
right? Sometimes people have estranged relationships. You know, you may
I
not,
mean, yeah, that's true.
you know, you don't talk to them that often. Some people, you know, they may talk like once a month or, you know.
I guess, yeah, that's kind of true,
Yeah, you know,
if I
it's,
think about it.
you know, but I mean, altogether, it's unfortunate. It sounds kind of, you know, I mean, and it is rather sad. And the circumstances that kind of surround it, you know, we're just asking questions. You know, forgive me, I don't mean to speculate and try to put any sort of theories out there about what has happened. Just asking, and is it reasonable to consider some of these things rather strange? And like I said, man, just the thought of it, you know, man, it's like you don't register that your wife has passed away, and they be talking about the pills, like they keep playing up this pills angle.
Yeah.
You know, the scatter, well, what was the prescription? What were the pills? Is it because it's almost like, okay, and there were pills scattered all. That's like, well, did she try to off herself?
That's what a lot of people thought at first, including myself.
Yeah, is it that, or you know, was the prescription maybe her husband was having an episode,
Yeah.
you know, and she needed to get some pills to him or something like that, and you know, maybe something happened to her, or maybe she has known that she has hantavirus and was maybe trying to, I guess, you know, I don't know if the pills were for that or whichever, because evidently, I don't know if hantavirus, once it gets to a certain stage, maybe there's nothing you can do about it. I don't know. I hope that's not the case.
She died from hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, and I think by the time it gets to a certain stage, there's nothing you can do.
Man.
It seems like she took care of herself, though. She had a masseuse. She went to Sprouts. You don't go to Sprouts unless if you're a healthy eater. We know that.
Okay, that's right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm very confused.
Yeah. Okay. So
Maybe she just thought she had some asthma or the air was bad or something for months. You know?
yeah. I mean, and I wonder what is the treatment like if like there's an early enough detection for it. I mean, is it just a point of a regimen of antivirals?
Yeah,
or
I wonder. Jay, do you happen to know that? Our resident hantavirus expert.
Yeah, if detection is early enough, how do you beat it?
Yeah, on the 1700s says, I remember that nurses would visit back then. Yeah, there used to be a lot more of that back in the day, but I'm confused because I would think Gene Hackman is wealthy enough that they would have had nurses coming
Right.
a couple times a week, or somebody who helps his wife out a few hours a day, because an adult with advanced Alzheimer's is a full-time job for more than one person.
Handful of y'all.
Yeah.
Wow. So, I guess there will be more developments, if you will.
Oh, High Mileage Husband says pills were for her thyroid.
Is that right?
Wow. I couldn't find that detail today. Thank you, High Mileage Husband.
Okay.
And Jay says viruses also go through cycles of infectiousness, like an athlete has an on season, an off season, and in training season. Yeah, viruses are annoying little things.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And they mutate too.
They mutate, and it's like this thing where it's like, is this thing alive? Is it dead? What?
Yeah, it's kind of like something that is not alive, but it's not dead either.
It's like
just a whole alien.
Yeah, it's like a replicator from Stargate. You know, it's this weird, entity that does what it does. All right, and thank you guys for your insights and helping us to make sense of some of this stuff. All right, let's get into Tulsi Gabbard, a bit of a rock star who's found her way away from the Democrat Party and easing on over to the right. Don't know if she's made that full leap yet. Got to make that leap to Christ, baby. And this is and right here. She's doing it. She's doing the battle. She's getting the battle in there. She understands.
Yep.
Right. I think she's seeing the implications of the spiritual war up in here. Right. It's more than culture. It's more than political. She's seeing the spiritual. And this is more than just, it's a religious war, all right. But it's, of course, the religious war is driven by demons. And you got to have, you definitely want the Lord on your side as far as this goes.
Yeah.
And, you want to be on the side of the Lord, I should say. Let's read a little bit of what's going on here. And there's an interview, I think, there's video, I think, of Tulsi Gabbard being at a hearing. Yeah,
at her confirmation hearing.
And you can see smug detraction there trying to. And it's heartbreaking, y'all. It is heartbreaking when you have these bullies. It's unfortunate how people can't tell the difference. How they can't tell the difference about, between these people being captive of ours and ours being captives of theirs. It's like, this is what you do. You're going to abuse them. You're going to humiliate them. And have these people just, being torn up inside, basically waiting to be killed. Not just killed, y'all, waiting to be slaughtered.
Yeah.
And like I said, folks, I couldn't be president. I couldn't be president because my presidency would be like, I understand that America is an annex of the kingdom. Under my watch, I recognize that America, when I say one nation under God, I mean it. And this is an annex of the kingdom. And anybody who considers themselves a Christian anywhere in the world is, as far as I'm concerned, in the territory of the annexed kingdom of God. And these right here, you go to bully those who are part of this annexed nation of the kingdom. Yeah, coming, right? Send all resources, to bring fire. So, and I reckon that would make a lot of people angry. Yeah, I reckon it would. But it's like, man, this right here, and y'all, don't get me wrong, y'all. I understand it's a lot easier said than done. I'm just saying that would be one of my things that I would spearhead. Trying to move whatever I could move to make sure that the forces needed to be dispatched against these demons would be done. You watch this video, man, and it's heartbreaking.
It is.
And the Lord told us that this is how it's going to be. And y'all don't think that it can't come here. Don't think it can't come here, y'all. I mean, hey, it's happened in America already, where people have been dragged out of their homes, by the godless. Democrats have dragged people out of their homes for being Christian, have bombed churches, not just for being black, y'all.
Yeah.
Not just for being black. Okay, they can go any place and terrorize people for being black. They went to the churches.
Yep.
Right? They went to the churches and set fire to the symbol of salvation. Right? Set fire to those things. Lynch people, blacks, whites. You know, that's Democrats all day. Democrats are for these people. Right? They lie for these people. They make provisions for these people to do what it is that they do. Syria's got, this takeover has been facilitated, by the Democrats.
Yes,
like under the Obama administration.
Yep.
It's facilitated for them to be able to do this. Democrats been doing this, have had they hate Christians. Like people talk about, well, the KKK, they were Christians. No, they weren't. KKK is a bunch of pagans. That hasn't changed about Democrats. They're a bunch of godless pagans. What do they worship? The earth. They're all about the environment and all that sort of stuff, right? Making sure that we have to live under their respected religion, which the Constitution says we ain't supposed to be doing. Right? They still pagans. KKK has been pagans. What, you think just because they gathered in church and stuff like that? No, they're pagans. Even the Democrats go into the church to proselytize Satanism. And so now they've facilitated these people to round up these Christians and put them to death, right? So this kind of stuff, man, and Tulsi, she gets it. She's trying to let us say, hey, we got to do something about this. I try to tell you, right? And God bless Tulsi for seeing the deal as far as this goes, and like I said, man, that stuff, it can't just, it's happened before, it can happen again. With Democrats who hate God and they hate those who follow God. This kind of stuff that's going on over there, yeah, that can happen here. It can happen again. Because it has happened here before. Dragging people out of their homes and lynching them. Right? So, we gotta, lean on the Lord for our marching orders to make sure that this stuff doesn't happen.
That was happening under the Biden administration as well. He had the FBI storm their houses, basically, for praying in front of abortion clinics.
That's right. Come on, y'all. It's right here. It's right here. And so please, people talk about, well, hey, they just need to go ahead and hash it out over there. So like, man, please, let's not be so cavalier about that sort of stuff, because that same stuff can happen here.
Yeah.
Again, it can get worse. It can get worse. What else we got here?
Well, pray for the Christians in Syria.
All right, because it's a hot zone.
Yeah.
For demonic activity that has come against these people. Let's see, what else we got? Democrat congresswomen release Choose Your Fighter. Video to appeal to voters. Okay, well, look, hey, since you women's, it's so ready to fight, won't y'all go on over there to Syria and, really teach them Islamic fashions a lesson, right? Go at them with some down, forward, back, drop kick, button, do a fatality or whichever. I saw, woo! It's like, man, what was it for? I'm just wondering, what statement were you trying to make? Are you trying to make it look like, hey, as your representative, we're really going to fight. We're going to fight this Republican regime. Stick your quarter in or whichever in, and we got our dukes up and we're ready to go. Nothing was, whatever it was that you was trying to sell with that video, I don't know if it's sold. I really hope they know how much it backfired. But then again, these people, they're so narcissistic. They're in imagination land. They probably think that the problem's with us for not seeing how cool it was. What do you think? It's like, we're the problem. Obviously, you're just too stupid to understand what it was that we're done. What we did was awesome. We're awesome. We're awesome, right? Don't you want? Yeah. So in looking at the women who's doing it, frankly, it's like some of them, you're like, okay, you understand that. It's like, okay, I expect you to look like an idiot of what you're doing. But a couple of them, and there's just like, wow, you're not supposed to look as stupid doing this as you do.
Yeah.
And forgive me all, because I know this is going to sound very stereotyping. It's going to sound very stereotyping, but these are the people they expect you to recognize them according to stereotypes. And then when you recognize them according to your stereotypes, then you're being racist. You guys know how the game goes, right? In black, like say for instance, in black culture stereotypes themselves into saying in order to be authentically black, you have to act like this. You have to eat these things. You have to dress a certain way. You got to talk a certain way. You got to walk a certain way. You got to vote a certain way. You got to do certain things to be authentically black. You have to abide by these boundaries of what it is to be black. And then when you say, okay, well, you do this because you're black. Oh, you racist. How dare you assume that we do certain things because we black? You know how it works. All right. So I'm going to take that license. And I'm gonna be like, okay, so I'm looking at the one Oriental, and that's right, I say Oriental. I don't say Asian because Asian ain't got nothing to do. It's a stupid politically correct term to use. All right, so you gonna have the Oriental woman strike her pose, and she looked like the most ignorant concerning a defensive posture than any of them. It's like, hey, I thought Orientals, that's like a national treasure, like in China. Martial arts is a national treasure of something to study. Okay, it's just part of the culture. It's like you kind of, it's like one of those things you'd be hard pressed to know somebody who hasn't had some sort of martial arts experience. Like, so, and y'all in China, there are thousands of martial arts systems, so many subsystems of Shaolin. Right? So many of northern aspects, southern aspects, and different hybrids. It's thousands, y'all. All right. So bearing that in mind, it's like, hey, to the Oriental fighter to choose, how are you going to look the most ignorant in terms of a defensive posture? It was awkward. It's like, wow, this don't even look right on. Second to that, I think the second one, in terms of a fighting posture where it's just like, what the hell are you doing? Was Crockett. It's like, you're supposed to be the angry black woman. You shouldn't even have to strike pose. All you should have to do is just start wiggling your neck, right? You just start putting that neck to it. That's supposed to be your fighting pose, right? Your fighting pose is just supposed to be this. You ain't got to move your hands or nothing, right? Just squint your eyes and get that Esther look. Right, where Fred Sanford want to stick his head and say, ooh, Esther. And just start snapping on you, right? Sanford's like, what you gonna do? If you gonna bite somebody with your eyelash, you gonna bite. I'm gonna bite. It's a kung fu move. I will bite you with my eyelash, right? So all she had to do was just start wiggling her neck. That's her, but she didn't do that. She just started getting her little bounce on, and now, in terms of like the video game, yeah, she looked the most like the video game.
I agree.
Like you waiting for her to press the button so you can go ahead and start putting your moves in, right? That you know what to do. So she looked authentic as far as that goes. But in terms of like a fight pose, it's like, girl, I hope you never do that around MTG.
Right.
It's like, never do that around her. It's like, look, I'm not a big fan of any of these people, really. But I think if you was to try to strike that pose with MTG, she'd take that weave off and choke you with it. So I don't think it'll end well for you. Don't do that. So at any rate, very cheesy, very cringy videos, y'all. And I'm not judging y'all. I've made some cringy videos myself. I've done some cringy stuff. In my career, I admit it, but I don't think I've come close to this kind of. No.
And you put it in the description, right? The videos.
It's on the link if they go to the article.
Y'all want to see it? Yeah, if you can handle it.
Yeah. Right. Let's see. Yeah, it's one of those things. If you guys can handle if you can handle the video of the Syrian rebels, that ain't easy to watch, y'all. That ain't easy. But if you can handle that, you can handle this
DDD, I hope I'm saying your name right. It says, Zoe is an awesome teacher. We need more Zonation.
Oh, bless these tea. I appreciate that. Hopefully, these doses from the Zoloft will will be a good supplement for that. I can't. You know, the Zonation. That was you know, when I started at PJTV, we were trying to come up with a name for, you know, what are we going to call your segments and stuff like that, and I just so we can get started as a working title, I just said, well, how about Zonation? They're like, that's it right there. Let's go with Zonation and that kind of stuff. But that wasn't really the name that I really wanted to go with.
Oh.
It was actually after I got canned by PJTV. I was, and for the record, I was one of the last ones. I hung in. They held on to me for about 7 years. So I was
They
like,
laid everybody off. They changed what they were doing completely.
right. You know, there was a lot of people there was a lot of commentators at PJTV who came and went, you know, didn't last very long. For whatever reasons that they did, but I think I lasted the longest. I was one of the last ones to go before. But actually, it wasn't like so much that I got let go and replaced with anybody else. They just decided that they're going to stop doing PJTV, and so that was the end of that. But all that to say,
Because who watches videos?
yeah. Well, not only that, you know, it's like basically paying. You know, they wanted people to pay subscriptions. Like, who pays a subscription for the news? But now,
Well, people do that now.
They're
They
doing
were just
it.
way before their time.
yeah, it is. They're doing it now, but you know, that wasn't the model at PJTV. Let's see what else we got here. Convicted murderer becomes first U.S. death row inmate in 15 years to die by firing squad. What? I didn't catch. What state? What state is this? Does anybody? There it is, right at the top of it. You know, hey Zoe, you should try reading a little bit, man.
South Carolina.
South Carolina. I just saw it. I just seen it. And okay.
I knew it would be the South.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, no, it could be other. It could be some more northern liberal states, because they're the ones who think that law enforcement are the only ones who should have, you know, guns.
Well, okay, I'll give you that.
Even though they call the law enforcement like racist and all that sort of, only the racists should have guns, right? And I guess they'd be okay with them shooting another white person. It's like, oh, that'd be
True.
fantastic. You know, that way they can feel better about their white guilt. You know, that's what we get. A white person deserves to be shot. Can I shoot you? No, don't shoot me with your evil guns or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so.
And they do hate white men, and this was a white man who was executed. So.
Very, very self-loathing people. Mm-hmm. You know.
Yes.
Now, I reckon now this person is he beat his girlfriend's parents to death. I reckon he didn't appreciate their meddling or something like that. I don't know why
Perhaps.
he did that. It's like, y'all need to think what you think you too good, your daughter's too good for me. You know, maybe it was a case of that or whichever, and I'm tired of y'all meddling in our relationship. That's still no reason to go and kill somebody. But I really, I guess I'm just covering this to ask the question of so this person is being, he was put to death. Was it because he didn't plead guilty? Did he, you know, somewhere in the article it sounds like, I guess it sounded like that, you know, he knew that he admitted guilt. Mm-hmm. I thought if you admit guilt, maybe he didn't.
Well, I don't see anywhere in the article that he admitted guilt. It just begins with he has the death penalty.
Okay.
And he had to choose which way he'd like to go.
Right? That's like, you know, hey, go find me something to beat your behind with. You want the belt? You gonna go get the belt? You gonna get the switch? You gonna get the paddle? What you gonna go get? Oh no! You better go get something, or else I'm gonna pick it. Beat your behind by default, right?
Yep.
So that's how he's got to go out. It's like, you got to choose your death.
And in this case, the default was the electric chair. Yeah. And he claimed he was not given the lethal injection option, only the firing squad and the electric chair.
Boy, don't you complain about the fact that you didn't get an option. All right, you didn't get. It's like, did you before you killed your girlfriend's parents? Did you? How do you want me to kill you?
Right.
Do you want me to choke you to death? Do you want me to beat you to death? Stab you? How you want to die? You know, you didn't give them a choice, so don't even try to trip and be like, well, they didn't give me an option of how they were going to kill me. Oh, all right. So he opted for being shot. I guess, you know, Sparky with that, man. Yeah, I guess if I had, I would make that choice. It's like, I don't know what you got. Well, weren't they working with, oh man, what's that method called? It has something to do with, what's the anoxia? What's the, you know, when you're oxygen deprived, you suffocate by nitrogen, right? Remember that? That's like gonna be the new death penalty method.
Oh, I did.
Hypoxia.
Ooh.
Yeah, death by hypoxia, y'all. I guess that I don't know if that's been implemented yet. So basically what happens is that I guess you put in a chamber and they just flood the chamber with nitrogen.
Oh, awful.
Yeah, and you just get starved of oxygen, and that's, you know, that's it. I would hate to experience what that would be like. I don't know if a person is if you really feel, I mean, just feeling that, you know, when you hold your breath, man, you feel that CO2 building up, and it's starting to like, hey, you can't tell if you feel like, you know, something is trying to come out of your chest or something is sitting on it, you know, it's when you need to gasp for air. But at any rate, I guess he went for the firing squad, and he tries to cite some scripture here, y'all. Let me see if I can find where he's he tried.
In the gray box, he says an eye for an eye. I would start there. That basically sums up.
Okay, so he's trying to make the case that he shouldn't be put to death because Jesus.
Yes.
All right.
Because Testament.
Yeah. So he said, I want my closing statement to be one of love and calling to my fellow Christians to help us end the death penalty, he said in a statement, which his attorney read out loud. Well, I don't know at what point he became a Christian. Maybe he became a Christian, you know, at his time in prison.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, death isn't something, you're right, man. Death isn't something that you should inflict upon somebody without due process. Well, you've gone through due process, but you put your girlfriend's parents to death. You put them to death. Whatever they did was a penalty to you, right? They did something that you figured they had to pay a penalty for, and that penalty being death. So you're kind of a hypocrite in saying that the death penalty should be done to what? I mean, you know, killing people is something that is banned. You know that, right? It's just murdering people. That's banned. You're not supposed to do that, but you did. And when you do that, when you violate that policy, the consequence of that is that the person who put somebody to death without due process, ergo murder, has their life deprived of them. That's the deal. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you are dealing with the consequences of the violation of that deal, and to try to invoke Jesus. Let me to any Christian who tries to say that Jesus is opposed to the death penalty. Y'all, listen to me really close. Listen really close. If Jesus was against the death penalty, then Jesus himself would not have orchestrated the events that would bring about him being subjected to the death penalty to atone for our sins. All right, Yeshua himself involved the death penalty in our salvation. All right, so now also to say that an eye for an eye was used as justification And the Lord letting us flat out know that if you shed another person's blood, your blood will be shed as well. You put a life for a life. You put somebody to death outside of God's sanctions, then your life is forfeit. You will be cut off from your people. Okay, now, y'all, that is not just an Old Testament thing. I'll tell you why. If you are a Christian, listen to me close. If you are a Christian, it is because you recognize that Jesus has always been God. He's always been God. So the ones who wrote the sanctions concerning taking somebody's life and paying the penalty for that with your life, Jesus is the one who wrote the law for that because he's always been there. He was the one giving the law to Moses. What that means, y'all, is that if you're saying that this hasn't been talked about in the New Testament, what that means is that Jesus never walked that back. What that means is that when Jesus made it clear that if you kill somebody, then your life is forfeit. You will be put to death for that. Jesus never changed the law on that. Where is the expressed revision of this ordinance that the Lord gave? He didn't, which means he didn't change it. You can't just go kill people and not have the consequence of your life being taken from you for killing somebody. Okay? So people, they in this self-righteous exercise of trying to make up their own ideas concerning consequences for murdering people is not biblical. It is not following Christ. It's not something that I say lightly. I'm not all about, hey, all right, hey, that's right. You killed somebody, you're going to get the chair. You're going to get executed, buddy. Yeah. That's not the attitude. As the Lord's attitude is, look, man, I don't delight in the destruction of the wicked. I want people to see the light and live. Get away from your wicked ways. You know? And yeah, the Lord himself will forgive murderers. I forgive you. All right? So in that, if a person admits their guilt and shows remorse, it's like, look, all right, you still got to pay a penalty, though. You taking somebody's life. So, you know, you just may have to spend the rest of your life in prison. You've taken somebody's life away. So your lifetime is going to be taken from you. You'll spend the rest of your life in prison. All right. If you're really, truly sorry and remorseful, you'll accept that. But I'll show you mercy. I'll show you mercy and you won't be put to death. Now, then there's a person who has no remorse about it, or is just going to sit there and lie about it and just lie about it and contest it when all the evidence is there and you don't want to admit your guilt. Then the Lord's like, hey, forgiveness is on condition. This is the Lord saying repentance, forgiveness for condition of repentance. You got to repent. You don't repent, man. It's like, look, man, I'm the destroyer of both the body and soul. And you got to answer. You know, you got to answer to your human peers. You got to answer to them. So you kill somebody, yeah, you got to be put to death too. I never walked that back. I'm about mercy. I'm about grace. I'm about repentance. I'm about forgiveness. You want that repentance, you'll get forgiveness. You still got to pay in some capacity, though. You still got to pay. Forgiveness isn't the absence of justice. You know? So a balance has to be made. But to invoke the Lord to say that the Lord wouldn't be about the death penalty per se, life for life, the Lord never walked that back. As a matter of fact, I mean, the Lord himself is coming back to dispatch a major death penalty, right, for those who have stood against him. So this person is in error, and anybody who believes that what they're talking about is in error, and they're taking the Lord's name in vain. Was somebody putting in something?
Oh, there's a lot of people putting in something.
Give me.
Jay has a scripture here. It is not the will of the Father that any should suffer, but that all come to salvation through Christ Jesus.
Thank you. That's right. Oh, and really quick, hopefully you're still tuning in on Instagram. I see somebody ask, where you been? I used to watch your vids all the time. I've been here, man. I've been here. I don't want to give a long, drawn-out thing about shadow banning, but I've been shadow banned for years. And, the powers that be have made sure that I have not been seen. So, but I'm glad I picked up on your radar. Please, my link is there, bronzeserpentmedia.com. Hopefully it will come to the website and you could stay in tune with what we be doing. And
Please come to the website.
Right.
I just want to put in there that you get suspended every few months on YouTube, and then you disappear for another year, and people forget about you. So just subscribe to the website so you can keep attuned of what Alfonso's up to.
Yeah, and YouTube doesn't even have to suspend me to keep me off people's radar.
Well,
but sometimes
they have an algorithm too.
They'll go a little deeper and just suspend my account, just to stick the knife in and twist it a little bit more. So, but again, thank you guys if you're tuning in on the Instagrams, tuning in on the YouTubes, and of course, bronzeserpentmedia.com. Okay, so at any rate, y'all, that's what we got as far as that being his final statements. And I'd like to say, hey, he's in paradise with the Lord, but the Lord himself says, hey, yeah, you can be calling on me and stuff like that, but I don't know you because you've called on me, but you've taken my name in vain.
Yeah.
You don't really know me. You're grabbing my words to believe whatever you want to believe. I'm an idol to you. I'm not an idol to you. You've made up an idol and you've given it my name.
Right.
And you know how I feel about idolatry.
Yeah.
So, but he's claimed the name of Jesus before people. That's what the Lord says. Hey, you confess me before men, I confess you before my Father. So I don't know how that's going to work out. None of us are perfect. Only Yeshua himself is perfect, and that's the only thing that's perfect in us. That's it. The word tells us, I expect perfection. The Lord says that. I expect you to be perfect. Well, that ain't going to happen with us. That takes him. He is the perfect integrity built in us. But you gotta when you call him in, man, you gotta lean on him. You gotta beg him for the conformity to be, hey, shape us, help us to be people who get you and on your frequency. Help us with that. But if a person's making statements like this, it's like, man, I don't know if you're on the Lord's frequency. And the Lord's been like, man, I don't know you. Right? So hopefully you got that worked out.
Jello Burger says, I applaud the cost-effective approach as a taxpayer.
Wait, how's it? Oh, okay, yeah. Right? There's that.
This guy said he chose the firing squad because, as he claimed, he was only told about 2 options, and he said he did not want to, quote, be cooked alive.
Yeah. Right?
With the electric chair.
Won't spark the glow. But yeah, I guess this would be the most expedient way and most cost-effective way. And even though people talk about how expensive ammo is.
That's true.
And the thing about how does that work? How does that work, y'all? In the firing squad, is it a wives' tale or is it a real thing where each one of the people on the line, they don't know if they're given an actual bullet or if they're given a blank. Y'all have heard of that, I'm sure. And how does that work with the firing squad? Is it one of them is given a blank? And I think forgive me if this sounds like a crude way of putting it, I think the psychology of it is, because if you're gonna have to shoot somebody, it like mitigates the weight that it bears on your conscience for having to, shoot someone. Oh. Hey, maybe you were one of the guys that had a blank.
Yeah.
I don't know. That seems a little. I guess if you're in a situation, I've not been in a situation where I've had to shoot somebody. I don't know how that would bear on my conscience.
Praise God.
For anybody who has to do something like that, maybe that is something very significant to where it's like, you know what, everybody's on this line. You don't know if you're the one who's been issued a blank. Or if it may be a couple of them or a few of them that may be given a blank or anything like that, and the rest of them. So if you guys are familiar with that and how that works, to disclose or dispel any sort of mythologies as far as that goes. I certainly appreciate it. I know I could Google it, but hey, it's I like hearing it from you guys.
Jay says, count the holes.
I know, right? It's like you're looking through your scope and you're making sure that, okay, when I fire this thing, I know exactly where my entry is, my entry wound is gonna, or my wound is gonna be, and I didn't see it, so I guess I wasn't one of the ones.
Hi, Mileage Husband says, a blank and a live round have very much different recoil. You would know.
Ah. Okay.
That's a good point.
Thank you for the heads up on that. Well, I mean, even if they would know, maybe that's part of it. Maybe that's the relief of knowing. It's like, man, at least I know that I wasn't the one who put a round in him.
Yeah.
But I don't. Are you saying that? Help me out, High Mileage. Are you making it clear that is not a factor, that every one of them is given a live round? Or is it still that one of them is given a blank, but the person who fires the blank, they're gonna know that it's a blank?
Oh, I thought he meant the latter.
The latter.
You would know. Yeah, you would know because the recoil is so much different.
Sure.
I would think that these are volunteers, the firing squad people, at least for this particular case. I would think that you have to be 100% convicted in your conscience.
Okay.
Hopefully by, you're praying about it with the Holy Spirit, that you are good with the justice that you are helping to serve. Indeed.
Okay, yeah, definitely. And then when it just kind of comes back to, is that a real tradition? Is that a real policy?
Yeah, I wonder.
That when a fire squad, whether it be like a volunteers or whether they're appointed, according to, the agency, the government agency that they represent, is it going to be all live rounds or is one of them going to be a blank?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder about that. If you guys happen to know, let me know.
High Mileage Husband says, more than likely all have live rounds to be sure.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah, it's like, it's like people like that, you better not give me no blank round. I want to make sure that this person gets drilled for what they did. You gonna get drilled, son. Right? All right, so.
Yeah, right. There is discussion of Eminem singing Christian songs and hoping that because there's a lot of people who are actually coming to Christ for real right now. It's kind of like a veil is being lifted. And people are like, well, maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But Cranky Corner says, Eminem has been doing Christian rap since 2022. Meh. But so did Beyonce. Doing Christian singing and not living for the Lord are two different things. I agree with you, Cranky. I don't want to consider myself a fruit inspector, but there is a minimum because I don't want people inspecting my fruit and deciding whether I'm Christian or not. We're not supposed to do that. But there is a minimum, observable behavior if somebody is actually living for the Lord.
I love inspecting your.
Stop it. Just have to embarrass me, don't you?
No, there's no reason to be embarrassed. Not at all. But anyway, so forget what I was thinking about. What was I getting ready? So this well, dang it. Oh yeah. Okay, so Eminem.
Derailed yourself.
Yeah, I know, right? Eminem. Hey. It's our hope that everybody, and hey, Eminem, I pray you receive the Lord's peace and truth. I really do. When I hear these people, talk about, their names being associated with anything Christian, one word comes to mind, Kanye. So people are like, oh, Kanye Christians. Like, Kanye. Ye ain't no Christian. So you'll have a lot of people out there, y'all. I mean, heck, even the Pope considers himself, Christian. That ain't turning out too good. So, with these people, I keep that kind of thing at arm's length. I'm glad that they have promoted the name of Jesus, and that upon knowing this name, he's the one that you need to come to. I totally appreciate that. The thing is that, you know, unless they're going to be these Taylor Swift, these Swifty kind of Christians, where it's like, well, we don't worship that kind of Jesus, or whichever. You know, it's still, they're still going down the wrong path, y'all. They're on the wide road, you know, headed towards the wide gate, and that gate ain't got nothing to do with Jesus. So, but you know, like as I say, man, it's praying that these people really receive the Lord's peace and truth.
I was just, of course, the chat moved. Because there's a lot of, okay.
What we got in there?
Riv H, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. My aunt just passed away Friday. She tuned in with me to your streams.
Oh, well, hey, the Lord's peace and comfort to you and all who loved your aunt. I'm so grateful that, you know, you find my work, we're sharing with your family, and that, you know, that hopefully we shared some laughs and some moments where it's like, hey, yeah, it got you thinking, and you know, and some resonating things. I'm blessed to have been part of that, you know, that experience, you know, with you and your family. And so thank you for telling us that. That's a blessing to hear. And here's to the Lord who's going to bring it all back together. And y'all can watch. You can continue watching the Zoloft as we bring it to the Lord's table, man. You know, and you know, we look forward to that day when the Lord brings it all together. So thank you for that, and again, the Lord's shalom and His comfort to y'all in this period. In Yeshua's name, amen.
In Yeshua's name, amen.
Let's see. How about this right here? Democrats doing what they do, embracing pure evil. Bernie Sanders teams up with transgender punk rocker, performing Blasphemous Explicit song. Does your God have a big fat D word? Because it feels like he's effing me. That's a dumb question. Whatever God's got is bigger. Okay? And bigger and better than anything that you can handle. So that's a dumb question. And it's a dumb attitude to have. It's a dumb statement to make. I mean, why would you even ask? You know, if you, I guess you would assume that God must be this real person for you to ask about such attributes concerning his anatomy. You don't want to gamble like that, dude. That's not a good idea. But Democrats aren't really known for having really great ideas. They've got great ideas when it comes to promoting really dumb ideas. They're very effective at doing that. That's a paradox that kind of just, you know, is something that they have a distinction of. But you know, this guy Bernie Sanders, he's a big pagan himself, so it doesn't surprise me that he's behind this. And so, you know, what Democrats, who are y'all, man, to ask a question like this? Y'all you sodomites have been screwing America for I don't know how long. Okay? Your God, the devil, you know, being the ultimate sodomite that he is, heck, man, he's basically having us singing, we're not gonna take it. No, we ain't gonna take it. We're not gonna take it without lube. All right, because they be going in dry, man. Y'all been screwing us for I don't know how long. How you gonna ask a stupid question like this about does God have a big D word because he feels like he's effing me? Crap do you care? You guys get screwed. You like that manner of play. It's what you guys are into. All right? So we have seen how your officials have been stealing from us. Not only stealing from us, but spending our money in perverted ways. And y'all have the nerve to ask, and you're gonna have this thing where you're gonna have this blasphemous sing-along against God, talk about how he's screwing us. Man, I'm telling you, man, Bernie Sanders, you know, remember, being the pagan that he is, you know, one of the reasons that he's for abortion is because we have to satisfy. Abortion, you got to sacrifice your children for Mother Earth. See, Bernie Sanders, and this is pretty much his words verbatim, we need abortion for the safety of the planet. Sacrificing your baby is to appease the Mother Earth. Abortion is good for the planet. Yeah, that's Bernie Sanders. You know, so he's evil. He's a freaking pagan. All right, so yeah, this kind of stuff right here, transgender punk. Hey, speaking of transgender, I hope you guys have checked out. If you haven't checked it out, I hope you guys do. You can. It's available on YouTube if you type in Sledge X Tranarchy. Right? I hope you guys check it out. Spread it around. I mean, I don't get a lot of love from my music anymore, or not that I really ever did. I don't know why. Anyway, I'm getting ready to go into my pity party. Stop me, Lord. Stop me, Jesus. Stop me from going into a pity party, because it does kind of break my heart that folks don't really dig my music. But as I say, man, I think it's really strange because you got these people out there who make this garbage music. And I don't know anybody who likes their music, whether it's Green Day or whether it's Beyonce or anything like that. It's like you got these people, oh, their music, it's horrible. I can't stand it. It's obviously garbage sells because these people are household names. They're known worldwide. So if garbage is, then my music should be, if my music is garbage, it should be selling really good. You know, so I don't understand why it doesn't work out there. But at any rate, y'all, since the Democrats have a song out there done by this tranny punk rocker, well then, hey, I issue a challenge. Why should this song and this article be more popular than the song I made? I did like I said, I did a parody of the song Anarchy in the UK by the Sex Pistols. I did a parody of it called Tranarchy. I hope you guys check it out. And I don't know. I reckon it should be more popular than this. I don't know what's, anyway. Kind of, it's frustrating.
It's a great song. I hope people will check it out.
BronzeSerpentMedia.com. Thank you. Yeah, you can check it out on YouTube. I did a video for it, Tranarchy by Sledge X. Or you can go to my website and you can listen to the audio of it. It's on the Sledge X cover page, and scroll to Tranarchy. Hope you guys will check it out. Why should these songs, by these perverts?
Yeah.
That's like they talk. It's the thing is, and okay, so this is at the Gateway Pundit, who calls these people radicals, and there's nothing radical. They don't learn, y'all. They don't learn. But while they give more, they make it to where songs like this and stuff like this gets more attention in the culture, but they won't. For musicians like myself who are making songs like no, we want to give all these people the attention, and y'all, even bad publicity is good publicity, but they help make these people get around. But I guess they got to make themselves look virtuous because they're calling these people out and judging them.
Yes.
And at some point they'll learn that actually maybe the way that we combat this is not by pointing out how evil they are, but maybe we should be supporting other artists who are doing something contrary to this for the cause of Christ. When you do that, so anyway, what else we got here? Delta Airlines isn't just doubling down on DEI, it's also doubling down on this sustainable aircraft designs. Now, I'd like to think that I'm subjective about everything, so I'm not going to let my prejudices against these earth worshipers keep me from making a fair examination of what it is that they're doing here. And once again, if you guys are tuning in on the Instagrams, I think Instagram may still be going. Nope, Instagram cut off. Hopefully folks will took my my link and follow the link over to my website. But anyway, good night, Instagram. So with this aircraft design, trying to be as subjective about it as possible. Talking about sustainability. I don't know what it's going to be using for fuel. If you guys know, or if you guys have any speculations, I'd certainly like to hear it. It's already being downplayed. I mean, this it's like a stupid idea and whichever. But it's like, look, man, I want to give it a fair shot. Like, what's going on here? I'm looking at the fuselage, and as opposed to the traditional tube design, you know, it's got wheels and it looks like a big Tylenol. So it's a big, beautiful plane. Instead of the tubular design, it's kind of got this more of a wide fuselage, which I think, what do you guys think? I think it's going to give more surface area for the wind to be under. I think that'll facilitate its lift better. It looks like the wings are really thin, so it maybe the wings are more for you know, stabilization and for steering, banking and all that sort of stuff. And like I said, I guess the body of the plane is what's giving you more of the surface area. So with that wider surface area, I think that would cut off the need for thrust, which I guess would mitigate how much fuel it would have to spend. I don't know. I assume it's still going to be kerosene that it's still going to be fueled with, but not as much needed, because you don't have to be dependent on so much thrust to resist gravity on its horizontal plane. It's being aided by the wide surface body to keep it, you know, to keep some lift under it. I guess the aerodynamics of it, the shape of its nose, the shape of the body, how it's kind of got this, you know, this wedge, wedge effect to it, this wedge build, the tapering behind the plane, you know. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, I don't see where the design warrants it being, I guess, this death trap that they're trying to call it. And because, you know, even looking at it, it looks like, let's say, for instance, if like the engines went out, it's got, like I said, this wider surface area to be able to sustain more glide potential. What do you guys think? I'm asking y'all. I'm asking. I'm not trying to make any assertions here and say, oh yeah, this is a sound design and all that sort of stuff. I'm definitely speaking as a layman here, and I'm trying to, you know, ask a fair question. I'm not the flaws in its design. The design flaws aren't as apparent to me as a layman as they would be, you know, to more of a person more versed in aeronautics. I really couldn't say. I'd really like to hear you guys' thoughts on this. I mean, because I could see myself kicking it in it and being kind of relaxed and, you know, enjoying my peanuts and, you know, maybe even hopefully they'd be serving some wine on this thing, and or a sandwich or something like that. What do you guys think?
Jay says lifting body design works great in water or a very dense atmosphere, but notice that there are no birds with a lifting body design.
Okay, well, now, all right, so I would, let me offer you this though. The bird's lifting design and its forward motion are still facilitated by its wings. It doesn't have a turbine mechanism to forward it through the air. Whereas, you know, a plane is going to be dependent not by a flapping motion per se, but, you know, it's got turbines, whether it's propeller or whether it's, you know, a turbine of a jet fashion. I mean, I see what you're saying, that you have to, because if this thing's at cruising altitude, the air is going to be thinner.
Yeah.
I got that. So, okay, thank you. That's something to consider right there. The density of whatever it is of the medium that it's moving on. But let me also offer you this though. Considering the speed at which it would be moving, as it's colliding with the air, the air to this aircraft, relative to this aircraft, is going to be denser, right? I'm asking, man. I'm not posing any sort of. I'm not posing an assertion about how it's moving through the air. I'm asking. So as it's colliding with the air, isn't the air going to seem more dense to this aircraft anyway, as a slower moving vehicle would be moving over water? So once again, my question is still the surface area of this plane through the air. Wouldn't the broader surface, would it still be viable? Thank you. That it's facilitating the lift, compensating for the thrust, ergo not having to use as much fuel to keep it sustained in the air. So that's the question that I'm asking. It's such a long, awkward way, and thank you for bearing with me.
Jay says, oh, the fuel in the LBD aircraft is stored in bladders over top the hold space, the passenger hold space. My concern is, I don't really know anything about aeronautical design and all that, is their chief sustainability officer is literally saying that she is more concerned about their futuristic aircraft being as environmentally friendly as possible. And they need to cut their emissions and get close to being, having no carbon footprint or as small carbon footprint as possible. That's their main focus. It doesn't seem like safety. Safety is like way down on the list for them.
Well, you had mentioned was it Jay? Sorry, man, forgive me. My memory's like that long a lot of times. I've been trying to process this, so it's like it doesn't leave much room for. He mentioned that the fuel bladders are above the passengers.
See.
Did I hear that right?
Aircraft is stored in bladders over the top hold space, the passenger hold space.
Okay.
Wait, what? That doesn't seem like a good design.
So in our traditional aircraft, the fuel is stored in the wings. There's going to be fuel that's used as ballast, right? So you're going to have like forgive me, y'all, if I've got this wrong. Help me out. Fuel that's going to be stored, in the forward part of the plane, and then in the aft part of the plane. And like I said, I think that the fuel is helping to serve as ballast. It helps to balance out the plane. And then there's going to be fuel in the wings. But I think the fuel itself is, trying to keep it away from
humans,
the passengers. All right. And forgive me if I've got that wrong, y'all. And please educate me on it if you know for sure otherwise. But in this right here, if the bladders are stored above the passengers, that's kind of scary. I guess if the saving grace to it is that death will be quick because they just burn, get burned up like really fast if that plane goes down. Okay, so thank you. That's one thing to consider. I mean, because those wings do look kind of skinny. It's like, man, I don't know how you gonna serve any, store any fuel in there. What else? Anybody else got any input on it?
Yeah, Darth Chuck the Merciless, great name. He bounced in from Bill Whittles.
Hey, and I wonder. Of course, I'd be curious to know what Bill.
That's
thinks,
the person to ask.
Right. So we know we got a couple of people in avionics, some field of avionics, whether it's pilots or whether it's like aircraft, Spark, we got aircraft, and y'all obviously, I reckon y'all have got some kind of familiarity. And then Bill, I wonder if he's going to be talking about this.
I would think so if he catches wind of it.
No pun intended.
Yeah, no pun intended at all.
Right.
He says no one has built a lifting body passenger aircraft or even a blended wing body passenger aircraft yet.
Okay.
Well, Delta's working on it, Darth. So
Not even with experimental aircraft. Now,
Well, who knows? Maybe, yeah, maybe so.
now let me ask this. Okay, now so we're saying that nobody's built a lifting wing. Can you help me out with clarification?
Aircraft.
I'm sorry?
Lifting body passenger aircraft.
Lifting body passenger. Okay, lifting body passenger aircraft.
Right.
Because what I was gonna say is, wouldn't our stealth bomber qualify as a lifting wing? I mean, it's a wedge. Our stealth fighter. And the stealth bomber design has been around for a long time. What do you guys think? I mean, this is not a full-on, wedge wing, fuselage action that we got here. The body itself is like I said, there's a lot of surface area, but it's got these, little wings that come out there.
Yeah.
But can you help me out with that, folks?
He says, Darth Chuck the Merciless says, if not a long cylinder to hold the pressure, you're limited to staying below about 10,000 feet. Wow.
Wait, say that again? How does it?
If not a cylinder to hold the pressure, a long cylinder to hold the pressure, you're limited to staying below about 10,000 feet.
Huh.
If it doesn't have that long cylindrical, if it doesn't look like a Tylenol.
Yeah, the cabin, right? So the cabin area.
You know what helped me out with this? Jello Burger said, well, there is the penguin. But he was joking. Penguins don't fly, but this thing is built like a penguin. It's short and fat, and it has small wings.
But once again, it has a thrusting mechanism.
Yeah, true.
A penguin doesn't have the wings to be able to get the lift,
It
right?
doesn't have a thrusting mechanism.
So, but depending on the medium that the penguin is in, because them skinny little wings can make it boogie through the water, though, right? So it's buoyant. Once it's in the water, and and the water supplies that buoyancy.
Yeah.
It can get through the water really good.
Oh, yeah.
And it's the way it's pushing itself through water. That's something else. So we talked about the medium that it's in and how much density you're going to be traveling through, whatever that medium is. I'm trying to bear in mind, y'all, that this has a thrusting mechanism, and maybe that's part of it, because I don't know what its fuel source is. I'm assuming that it's still going to be using Jet A. So it is going to be, the wedge design is helping it with the lift, and it's the thrusting. It's got a thrusting mechanism, y'all. So we're kind of. I guess maybe we're splitting hairs or misconstruing maybe aeronautics with avionics. Bird doesn't have a jetpack on it. This has a thrusting mechanism, so I don't know if we can really make the comparison between birds and the aircraft.
The designer of this aircraft, Jet Zero, which is a startup in California, naturally, he says it's a first of its kind aircraft that will reduce airline energy costs and associated emissions. So when you said Jet A, I'm wondering if they have some sort of alternate fuel figured out, because how are they going to reduce emissions?
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't say anything about what kind of fuel. It's if they're going to be using a different kind of fuel for this. Assuming that it's still Jet A, the only way I can see that it's going to offset its emissions is the body design is not going to be dependent on so much thrust to maintain its lift.
Okay.
That's my speculation on it, folks.
Yeah.
I'm not making the assertion. I don't really know. I'm not as much of an expert in this field of aeronautics, or any field of aeronautics, really. I'm just looking at it, and those are my contemplations on it.
I'm looking through Darth Chuck's comments here. He says, at 30,000 feet, it's almost a vacuum compared to sea level.
Yeah, comparatively, yeah. It's still good. And once again, y'all, those things, there's compensation as far as that goes. In terms of, the density of the atmosphere at lower altitudes compared to the higher altitudes, the mixture of the richness of your mixture with air and fuel, those things are taken into account. They're calibrated for, considering the speed that you're going to be moving at, how fast the aircraft is going to be moving in the air to get air into its intake to mix with the fuel. Those things are compensated for as far as that goes. So I mean, yeah, definitely taking those things into consideration, like what you're saying. How this will work. I guess we're just trying to do the math on how are they, assuming that this is going to be more fuel efficient and less emissions. All right. Well, dang, y'all, thank you guys so much for bringing some stuff to the table and helping me to try to work it out.
Well, I'll read one last,
Okay.
and then we'll move on. Reducing fuel burn to save money and make airlines more profitable is the goal that Airbus and Boeing have been chasing for decades. Yeah, good point.
Right?
Boeing isn't having great luck anymore.
Yeah. I mean, these people, they want to put butts in seats. They want, they got these big planes, and if they could save money on fuel costs, yeah, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
They want to be able to do that. Y'all, the design that we've had, it's been in play for so long, and a lot of these planes, they got a lot of miles on them.
Yeah.
And to roll out a new fleet is obviously, it's not that easy, y'all, to roll out a new fleet of aircraft with a whole new design. Y'all, it's obviously not that easy. But if they want to pursue it, go ahead and do it. Just, keep, passenger safety in mind. And let me put it like this. They're thinking more concerned. They're more concerned with the safety of the planet than they are, and the planet has done a really good job of taking care of itself. It has survived worse things than us. Come on, man. It survived worse things than us. It has survived worse things than planes. And I welcome, a cool, new, efficient design of aircraft. Hey, man, let's make it happen. But if your concern is more for the planet than it is for people, I don't want to get aboard that plane.
Oh, yeah.
When the planet will actually do better is when people actually cared about people. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and strength, and then love your neighbor as yourself. If you really care, and trust me, if you value the Lord God first, the planet will do much better for it. The very people who are talking about all this love that they have for the planet are the ones who are screwing it the most.
Yep.
All right. I've lived in like the Mecca of earth worship. All right. We lived in LA.
Yep.
And LA is dirty. You got these people out there just, the earth and save the planet and the earth and all that sort of stuff. For all that preaching that they do about the planet, is one of the dirtiest places. It's like, man, don't even try to lecture me about the environment and the planet and all your earth worship and stuff. Like, y'all freaking dirty.
Yep.
All right. So, and not only that, you're dirty to other people. You do each other dirty and all that sort of stuff because you just love your own sense of self-righteousness, your pride. That's all you're really in love with. You want to make yourself look like a good person. You really want the planet to do better. You want a cleaner, better earth with better air quality and better water and stuff like that. Love the Lord. The love of the Lord is what will make those things to have that integrity built into you, where you will make sure that, hey man, I want to, I won't. It's not. You don't even have to go on a flipping 4-H mission or anything like that to make sure things are clean. Hey, you know what? You'll just pick up after yourself.
Yep. Exactly.
And make it to where it's like, hey man, I like you for the Lord. I want to respect what it is that He blessed us with. That glorifies the Lord. And I want my neighbors to be able to live in a place, man, where it's like, hey, man, it's nice, you know? But if you put the earth first, you just gonna have a dirty earth, dude. It's
Exactly.
That's what it's gonna be, man.
Jay says, y'all do understand that we're talking about something designed by people with the same mindset as the Titan submersible?
Okay, enough said.
Very good point, yeah.
And once again, man, you know, we try to be objective up in here. You know, we're not just gonna poo-poo it just for this. I'm looking at it. It's like, okay. I'm gonna ask some questions about to people who are smarter than I am. You know, it's like let's take a look at it and let me know if I'm speaking out of school or not. And but it really kind of comes down to that. It's like, look, I have concerns, you know, and there you go. Let's see, Elon Musk. Yeah, I wonder what Elon, what you got to say about it, man? What you got to say about this plane design? Elon Musk says X experienced a massive cyber attack involving a lot of resources. Here's what we know. Okay, let's break it open, y'all. Man, I'm telling you, man, people, man, I think I'm something more. But then again, this is their idea of being constructive with their time and their talent and their skills. And it's like they think they're doing something good. They think that you deserve this, right? It's a shame, you know. It's like, you know, people be like stealing from people. It's like, man, all that energy you put into stealing from people, man, why don't you just get a job? Well, they think that is their job.
Yeah.
They think that some people deserve to be stolen from. They can afford to be stolen from and all that sort of stuff. And, you know, and even if you can't, well, you deserved it. And they deserve more and all that sort of stuff. They make these justifications for themselves. So kind of pointless to say, hey, man, why don't you get like an honest job? You know, these people think they are being honest. And they think that they're making people honest. You know, you deserve this, you know? So, according to this update, Elon says the IP addresses in this attack originated, keyword there, parenthetical, in Ukraine. Well, I wonder if that has a little something to do with Zelensky's apology letter, right? Yeah, I'll send you an apology letter, but, you know, maybe it'll kind of like, I don't know, run interference or a distraction or something like that while I kind of stick at you guys a little bit for humiliating me, which you kind of deserved. So it goes on to say, okay, the hacking group, Dark Storm. Hey, you guys heard it here first. I think I guess Twitter's been down, so I don't know if anybody's tweeted this out. Right. We're gonna call Dark Storm Dork Storm here.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, because that name right there, that's dork all day. And you guys, you probably got people working there with their little man buns. You ain't got a man bun, you got a dork knob. So this is Dork Storm, hacking the Operation Dork Storm. Team has claimed responsibility for today's hack, and don't hack my computer, Dork Storm. They probably get mad and come in and hack some of my stuff. Is that? Anyway, for today's hack on X, formerly Twitter. The group is known for its sophisticated cyber warfare attacks and successful hacks of high security systems. According to Orange Cyber Defense, the group was formed in 2023 and has a pro-Palestinian focus. Okay, so their focus is pro-butthurt, because that's pretty much what Palestine means. Palestine, the word, basically is the equivalent of Philistine. Or in the scriptures. So what the Hebrews call the Philistines comes from the word palash, where we get Philistines, or Palestine, which means butthurt. Really, it means to wallow in misery is what it means. So this is basically a butt-hurting group, just wanting other people to pay for how miserable they are, punks. So last month, the group vowed in a post to unleash a wave of cyber attacks on the government websites of NATO countries, Israel, and nations supporting Israel. All right, Dorkstorm. Let's see. We've got to take down a social media platform for Hamas. And Elon Musk, that's what they say, right? Elon Musk, who owns X, said this ongoing attack is very large, signifying potential backing from a hostile nation.
He said there were way too many resources needed for this to be just some ragtag little team.
Sure. So basically, this is cyber warfare 3, right? This is like since you have this coalition of nations that are involved in this, is like a world, cyber world war. Well, I guess it'd be World War I. It'd be the first, of its kind. But hopefully it won't get any messier than that. But I mean, this could still get pretty flipping messy. Serial left-wing attention seeker Ed Krasenstein claimed he was chatting with Dorkstorm. Dorkstorm! Seriously, that name makes me cry. It makes me laugh, every time. And said their next target was a bank in Africa. Why y'all want to do that, man?
These people hate the Jews and they hate all of the Western countries, so.
So probably these African targets that they're talking about they're probably Christ following.
Probably.
Let me see.
People are saying that X is working fine. It was not working fine today because I have to gather news on Mondays, and every time I went to X today, it was down, and it was very irritating.
X was X'd out for a minute.
Yep.
And so hopefully they get a lid on this. Hey, maybe, who knows? Maybe they'll hit X so bad that X will just have to shut down completely and have to reboot and
get those algorithms
out. Take that time to to kill them algorithms. Maybe that's what it's going to take to do that.
Another thing I learned was Rumble. They were down today too.
Oh,
and I know, right? I don't know if it's the same Dorkstorm team that hit them, but I think it was. I think they were claiming victory for the takedown of Rumble as well.
Well, okay, well, good job. So anyway, leave us alone, man. And what else we got here? All right, last article. Zelensky apologized, I guess kind of dovetail into this one, to Trump in a private letter. I guess it's not so private now, but we know a little something about it. And it's like, I wonder how that kind of that dialogue is going to go. Hey, Trump, I said some things. You said some things,
JD said some things.
JD said some things. It was 2 against 1 saying some things, And I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you're a beep, 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 beep. But anyway, so I mean, like I said earlier, like with Britain, basically, I think giving Zelensky like a $2 billion incentive. $2 billion, that ain't gonna go very far. But it's like, hey, Zelensky, we're gonna pay you $2 billion to just listen for a second, right? While Zelensky's like, haha, U.S., the Brits are gonna give me $2 billion. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, dude, we're gonna give you $2 billion to just shut up and listen for a second. You're not gonna have a chance without the U.S., okay? You're gonna need them. So take the $2 billion and start working on an apology letter. How about that? So maybe it went a little something like that. What do you guys think?
That's hilarious. We do have a couple of discussion items at the end.
What you got?
So I'm wondering, what did the letter say? It doesn't really disclose that, huh? It just discloses the fact that he sent a letter.
Yeah, I guess the letter is supposed to be secret, so maybe we're not supposed to know what's in it.
I guess, yeah.
But it's at least you do know that there was a letter sent, folks. I guess that's as far as that's going to go.
He's trying.
Yeah, he's trying. He's good. Give him a
golf clap.
Yeah, give him a golf clap for that. Because hey man, we want this. This stuff's got to go. I mean, I understand. Ukraine, it was attacked.
Yes.
They're defending themselves, if you will. But once again, doesn't make them the good guy just because, they were attacked by Russia. There's other, factors in play as far as this goes. Ukraine basically being like the laundry capital of the world. And it's pretty popular in terms of corruption all around. So it's not like Ukraine is like these little saints that, have just been sitting there minding their own business and then got attacked by somebody for no reason. But at the same time, whatever greed is going on between both nations, people are suffering for that, and that we would like for that to stop. So hopefully an agreement can be made, that they can go ahead and have them, a peace treaty and, knock this stuff off. I know a lot of people are thinking that, hey, we're just trying to make it to where Russia can get whatever they want. In terms of what Russia wants, I guess maybe they just couldn't work it out, peacefully. I'm pretty sure Ukraine, and the thing is, whatever Ukraine wants to keep their sovereignty on, unfortunately, they're using those resources and they're not using them for the right reasons. A lot of corruption in the nation and who they do their dealings with and whatnot, and I reckon another faction would be like, look, man, whatever you guys are using this stuff for, what you guys are using your resources for, it ain't going to turn out for a good thing. So, yeah, we're going to invade you.
Yeah.
I can understand that. And then make the case of, I guess why it belongs to Russia anyway. I'm asking. I'm not trying to stick up for Russia or anything like that. I'm not, sticking up for people just going and invading somebody else's territory. But, what are you doing with your territory that may be a compromise on a bigger scale? And you know what? Those things would be in our hands better than it is in yours. And I'm not necessarily happy about Russia having access to more resources as it is. I'm not crazy about that idea either. So like I said, I'm not looking at both of these factions as the good guy. I just, and that's one of the reasons why, hey, with Trump's like, hey, cool your heel, Russia. Because we're going to throw some sanctions on you, right? Don't throw some sanctions on you. And so I understand that too. This like both parties here, they gotta, you gotta keep them in check. So.
Jello Burger says, Ukraine, please help us, USA, also Ukraine. Let's hit some, I can't talk now. Let's hit them with a DDoS attack. Yeah, basically, that's how Ukraine is.
Right? It's like, give us more money to screw you. Can we please have some more money to screw you with? It's kind of like what it comes down to. We want to keep your American traders in our, dependent on our services to launder money and for the investments in weapons. It's like they're wanting to keep this war going, because Ukraine is just like, man, we hadn't got this much money from America in I don't know how. We getting paid now, man. We really getting paid. So it's like Ukraine may be like, Russia attacking us has been the best thing that's happened to us in I don't know how long, right? And wink, wink, nod. Thanks for attacking us, Russia, because we getting some long money from the U.S. now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So keep on sending us that money. It'll work out for the parties that it needs to work out for. How about that?
Right. And Darth Chuck, the merciless, I cannot talk anymore. Merciless, thought it was hilarious when Z said he didn't know where half the money went. Yeah. I remember that. It's like, oh, it just doesn't really matter. Nobody cares. Yeah,
well, hey, Z, all the more reason why we probably shouldn't send you any more money. You're a horrible custodian of our custodian of our funds, dude. Yeah. So thank you for making the case that we shouldn't send you money.
Yeah. Get you some Excel spreadsheets and start tracking it.
Word. Come on, man, run a QuickBooks. So let's see. That was it. Did we get through them all? All right. Hey, well, thank you guys so much for bearing with me and helping me understand this stuff that I'm posing to you. And hopefully I said something useful and, maybe even something funny. Sound like Joel Osteen. I hope I said something funny. So, bronzeserpentmedia.com, y'all. If you haven't become a member yet, if you stumbled across our work, if you're one of those who say, hey, I haven't seen your work in a long time, bronzeserpentmedia.com. Come on over and become a member at our website. It ain't going to cost you a dime, just a couple clicks of your time, just email, and I'm not going to spam you and all that sort of stuff. You become a member, stay tuned in with what we're doing, and, drop that buck in the bucket to keep your bros on the go, because we would really like to build our production company and bring y'all some, some even more. And I know it's really hard to outdo how interesting my content is as it is, but we want to try it, man. We want to make some more interesting stuff. So your support, your prayers, and your money. Zelensky is asking for some more. Zelensky is asking for some more of your money.
He has somebody that keeps track of it, though.
All right. And so we want to be able to do our part in our culture war effort to throw down in the culture, y'all. Right on. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Y'all have a groovy and blessed rest of your evening, and we will do it again soon. Bye.